Spider-Man Far From Home is the 23rd movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is the second Spider-Man movie to star Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and in this movie, he has to help Quentin Beck take down the Elementals that are creatures from a parallel universe, an alternate dimension known as the multiverse, while also going on a school trip with his classmates to Europe. Peter Parker's trying to balance his own life with his responsibilities as Spider-Man, and we have a movie now, and this is a highly anticipated movie. Everybody's interested to see where this is going to go after Endgame, and the beginning of the movie for me was really strange. There's a sequence, the very first scene of the movie is something I didn't expect to be the opening scene of the movie. I thought that it was going to be somewhere in the middle of the movie or towards the end of the movie, and that's not the case here. So it did feel a bit strange in that sense. And I thought for the first half hour of this movie, the first act of this movie, there were major pacing issues. We're jumping back and forth a lot. It felt like the movie didn't know where it wanted to go, what it wanted its next scene to be. And it just felt like it either was jumping back and forth between Peter being Spider-Man, or it was jumping back and forth between stuff with Quentin Beck as Mysterio. The movie, at first, I feel like didn't know how to balance everything that it was going for, because before you know it, they're on this school trip. And I thought that was going to occur slightly later into the movie, maybe about 15 to 20 minutes. It occurs about probably 7 to 8 minutes in. But with that, there's a lot of jumbling going around. There's a lot of different locations that they visit. There's a lot of things that happen. But once Mysterio shows up, that's where the pacing for the movie improves. And Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio is perfect. Jake Gyllenhaal is a great actor. I don't care what anybody else says. This dude knows how to do it. Even he will make a bad character good because of his performance. And he has a really good performance here as Mysterio. Now, let's talk about Mysterio himself, because for the first hour of the movie, Mysterio was an issue for me. He was one of the problems I was having with the movie, because I didn't know where they were going with Mysterio. This has nothing to do with the pacing issues, by the way. But just from a character and writing standpoint, I had no idea what they were going to do with the character of Mysterio. And I had this theory in my head that I think almost everybody else has in their head too. That this was going to happen, this is how this was going to play out, that maybe some of this wouldn't be what it actually is. And for the first hour, I started to second guess myself. Or maybe this isn't what I think it is. Maybe it is what I wasn't thinking it was going to be. But for the first hour, his characterization really wasn't there in terms of what his motivation was, why he was going to be the villain. And that was really lacking throughout the first hour of this movie, because Gyllenhaal is a character actor. He plays a lot of great characters, and then his performance just transforms those characters into something else. But once you learn what Mysterio's motivation is, it's completely understandable, and I was totally on board with Mysterio. It's just that first hour has a strange beginning, some major pacing issues within the first 30 minutes, and then you kind of don't know where they're going with Mysterio. Other than that, the movie's great. Tom Holland is really good here as Spider-Man, as is Zendaya as MJ. Man, this is the best I've ever seen Zendaya. This is actually probably my favorite live-action version of MJ. Because she's not a damsel in distress every movie like Kirsten Dunst was. She's not a bumbling idiot like Kirsten Dunst was. She's not a total bitch like Kirsten Dunst was as MJ in the original Raimi trilogy. There's actually layers to her character, and I like how awkward she is in the movie. I like the fact that she and Peter kind of have this awkward dynamic thing going on. There's a lot of funny moments with his friend Ned, too. Lots of great humor in here, especially with Ned. Was dying laughing in some scenes, and the action scenes were really fun, actually. A lot better than I thought they were going to be, because that was one of my things in Homecoming. I thought some of the action scenes in Homecoming were lacking, and I think it's just because I get it. Spider-Man's in high school, so they weren't trying to make it, like, big, or these action scenes just felt like they were trying to be bigger than, say, for instance, the train sequence in Spider-Man 2. Nothing's ever going to beat that in terms of a Spider-Man movie, but I do think the action is improved here from Homecoming. It's just some of the CGI is not that great. I understand why it wouldn't be that great, though. The movie does address that. And I was able to roll with it because the movie explained why. Like, this is why we're having shitty CGI for some characters. Especially Mysterio and some of the elementals that come in. So it makes sense with them. There is some really bad CGI, though, with Spider-Man's suit at the beginning. Did not like that at all. I also like the theme of this. It's like, who could be the next Iron Man? Is it Spider-Man? I really like that. I really like the Marvel movies that just have running themes throughout them. Like Iron Man 3 was, does the suit make the man or does the man make the suit? I like the Marvel movies that have themes like that. This has a theme as to like, yeah, Iron Man was the leader, but who's going to step up and be the next Iron Man? And I like how the movie addressed that. And there's this really great sequence towards the middle of the movie that is a horror-esque elements that the Marvel Cinematic Universe continues to throw zany scenes like this into their movies, and I'm all for it because I love seeing different stuff like this. Picture what you have to do in Batman Arkham Asylum when Scarecrow shows up. That's the best way to describe it. So while there were some major pacing issues in the first half hour, it had a strange opening, and I wasn't sure where Mysterio was going in the first hour of the movie. I was on board with everything else after that. I loved everything else about this movie. It's just, again, it's just the first 30 minutes have bad pacing. It has a strange opening, and then Mysterio's not really fleshed out for the first hour. But once you learn Mysterio's motivations, it makes the movie so much better. And I think the action here is a lot better than in Homecoming. Tom Holland's really good. Zendaya's really good. It's a well-directed movie as well. And I did appreciate that even though the CGI is somewhat middling, the movie does address that, and it does it in a way that makes sense. And I'm going to give Spider-Man Far From Home an A+. Guys, thank you for watching my review of Spider-Man Far From Home. You guys are the best. I will leave all my links to my social media accounts in the description below. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.